How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FC and welcome back to another Euro 2020 fantasy video. I say another video, but in actuality, this is going to be the first video that I create on this Dayvy FC channel. And what better way to do it than have a first initial draft for the upcoming Euro competition. So in this video, I'll be going over my team selection heading into that deadline. And as I always say, this is an initial draft, a first draft. So please don't roast me in the comments down below too much. I'm pretty sure that your guys' Euro drafts are currently looking a lot better than my draft, and that's just because I simply made this first draft quite quickly with initial thoughts of teams that I think should do well in this upcoming Euros. If you guys are a citizen of a respective nation in the Euros, drop your selections down below because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a couple of hidden gems from those countries that you guys do live in that we don't even know about. So I'm hoping that there will be a couple of cheap enablers that have absolutely massive Euro competitions that can hopefully bring our fantasy teams quite a lot of success. But in this video, I'll be going over my specific first team selection as well as the decision making into why I picked those certain players, and then I'll also go over some transfer thoughts in the upcoming group stages that I already am kind of contemplating. Also, we'll be talking about some things that you guys should watch out for from now till that 11th of June deadline, where I think Turkey take on Italy in match day 1 of game week 1. So if that's something you guys are interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So as I mentioned, this is a new channel, this Dayvy FC channel. If you guys are new to the channel or maybe haven't even seen my Dayvy FPL channel, welcome. Hopefully you guys do enjoy your stay. If you guys are returning from my Dayvy FPL channel, thank you for the continued support, and hopefully we do hit a nice little milestone before the Euros do commence. I mentioned this is the first video of this channel, which is going to be a little bit of history for those of you guys who are watching this video. Maybe the Dayvy FC channel goes on and gets 10 billion subscribers, and then suddenly we're the most subscribed channel on YouTube. But more realistically, I think that maybe a 1k subscribers will be more realistic by the time the Euros do come about. So subscribe to this channel. I will be doing all my Euro content. I just wanted to kind of create a nice distinction between my Dayvy FPL channel and my Dayvy FC channel, so that we keep FPL content exclusively on that other channel. But on this channel, I'll be doing all my Euro content as well as some more general footballing videos, such as maybe a Euro prediction, and then when FPL or the Prem starts next season, I'll be doing a Premier League prediction as well. But thanks for all the love and support. Hopefully you guys enjoy your stay on this Dayvy FC channel, and in about 2 months I'll see you back on the Dayvy FPL one. But now let's go on and talk about some bigger talking points. So the first talking point we're going to be going over is basically what you guys should be doing from now till the 11th of June. So basically less than 2 weeks time when Turkey do take on Italy in match day 1 of game week 1. And that's going to be the international friendlies. If you guys can take away one thing from this video, is that you guys should be focusing on these international friendlies, because that's going to give you a lot of indication into what players could potentially start. And there's a couple of reasons why these international friendlies are so important. The first one is quite a simple one. It's that the team selection for these international friendlies should give us some nice insight into what the manager is thinking about his squad and how he will hopefully set up for the upcoming Euro competition. I don't think the friendlies that are happening tonight, tomorrow, maybe this week are going to be that important. You can kind of see that from Gareth Southgate, the England manager. He said that Jesse Lingard and Ollie Watkins will be playing in those friendlies, even though they're not even in the 26-man squad. So you can kind of see what I'm saying about that. But the closer we do get to that deadline and the closer we do get to the time that the Euros are going to start, that should give you quite a good indication of the potential best inverted commas starting 11 that the managers should pick. So look at those starting 11 players. Those are probably going to be the players that start in the Euros, but obviously there could still be some rotation because the matches are happening thick and fast, and there's not going to be a lot of rest period between them. The next thing is going to be the international form. So there's a lot of players that actually play better for their countries than their clubs. A perfect example of this is going to be a Gini Wijnaldum. I use them in the example of the ultimate guide to the Euro fantasy. For Liverpool, more of a defensive player. For the Netherlands, an absolute attacking machine. So I think that he's a potential player that could really do well in these upcoming Euros, and I'm pretty sure the Netherlands will rely heavily on him. So it's going to be that international form. I mean, a player that scores in these international friendlies and takes good form into the competition of the Euros, I think has a good chance of getting some returns. So also keep your eyes on that. So basically look at the starting 11s and then also look at the players that do quite well in those respective fixtures. And then I think that should be quite a good insight, and hopefully that gives you quite a good final draft going into that game week 1 team selection. But now let's go on and look at the team. So this is my current team, my initial first draft for Euro 2020's fantasy competition. And there's probably going to be a lot of deliberation about this and a lot of roasting in the comments down below. So guys, please be gentle in the comments. This is only my first initial draft. And as I said, I'm pretty sure that your guys' drafts are going to be a lot better. I'll be starting off with the defense because there's quite a lot of talking points to go over in that defense. But first of all, I want to say I really do apologize if I butcher any of these players' names. With the whole Euro competition, there's a couple of names that are quite hard to pronounce, and I'm pretty sure only the England's names I might get right. So I do apologize if you guys are a citizen or are of that culture and I mess up the name. I'm not doing it on purpose. So going on to the starting lineup, as I mentioned, I'm going to talk about the defense first because the first big talking point is going to be Meunier and Castagne from Belgium. So the reason that's quite a controversial one is that Castagne and Meunier actually play the same position. They're both kind of that right back, a right wing back position for Belgium. And the thing about Belgium is they play a 5 at the back. So we have 2 wing backs that should be quite attacking. But I simply just wanted to illustrate here that I am looking at Belgium and I want to see these international friendlies and I want to basically have both wing backs for the Belgium side, because a 5 at the back that usually allows those wing backs to go quite attacking. I'm almost hoping that maybe Meunier and Castagne both play. I don't know how, maybe one of them converts to the other's position, maybe one plays left wing back, but I also saw that maybe a Thorgan Hazard was actually starting at that left wing back, but unfortunately he's listed as a midfielder, so I don't think we'll be going for him anytime soon. But Meunier and Castagne, basically just want to see who plays out of them, and the other's going to be a placeholder, and at 5.5 can kind of get anyone in the game and simply just downgrade them if I don't think that they're that favorable. The thing about Belgium though is I think they're going to have a good competition, and I think their group is relatively safe, and I think in terms of a clean sheet threat, I think that Belgium defenders have a really good clean sheet threat. So that's why I wouldn't mind the double up in that Belgium defense, but I know there's going to be guys in the comments down below telling me that Castagne and Meunier play the same position. Why are they in your squad? But I simply am keeping them as a placeholder, and I am looking at other options that I could potentially have. The other options are going to be really cheap. I've got Paul Torres here, who has the potential to start for Spain. I don't know the exact center back or defensive pairing that Spain like to go for, but I definitely think at 4.5 he could be quite a steal. Then the next one, who is a cheap option for Denmark, is going to be Kjær. Apologies for that one. That's probably going to be the one that I'm butchering the most. So if you are a Danish fan, if you're from Denmark, I do apologize for that one. But at 4.5 million, a really cheap option. The thing about the Nordic countries, like your Finlands, your Swedens, and your Denmarks, is they're actually really cheap. So there's a lot of defensive options that I'm kind of hoping that can get us some clean sheet threat there, because they are quite cheap. So hopefully that provides some good budget per your million. And then finally, from North Macedonia, we've got Ristovski. I know that at that kind of 4 million price bracket, there's a lot of players that actually start. So I think that Ristovski provides a nice option at 4.0. Alioski is also an option that you guys can go for, but I didn't have that 0.5 million. And the thing about Alioski that's nice is that apparently he is on penalties. So if North Macedonia do get a penalty, Alioski will take it. And as you guys know from FPL, Alioski plays for Leeds, so it's kind of a name that we do know and I think that we can trust. In goal, I've got Hiradeki as a nice cheap option. Simply, he is just cheap. That's why I've gone for him. And then my second goalkeeper is going to be Stekelenburg. Between Stekelenburg and Tim Krul, I don't really know who's going to start for the Netherlands. But the thing about it is that you do want a Netherlands defender because they do have some nice fixtures and actually quite a good overall pool. And that's why I think that a Netherlands defender could be quite valuable. And the next section of the team is going to be the midfield and the attack. Starting off with Lukaku and Immobile. I think that those players should do quite well. I currently am really favoring Italy, and that's why I've kind of gone for the double up in the midfield and their attack, because I think they should be quite good. And I mean, the opening game against Turkey, that should give us some nice entries into Euro Fantasy. And as you guys know, I can always sub them out if they don't do well. So I think Immobile will be my captain going into game week 1 or match day 1 per se, because as you guys know, I can rotate my captaincy. I already spoke about Lukaku, but I think he's going to be a great option in this Euro Fantasy. And overall, I think he's actually in with a shout for that golden boot for the entire tournament. The rest of the midfield, I've gone for my Dutch man, Gini Wijnaldum there, a Liverpool fan, so I'm always going to be going for Gini Wijnaldum, but I spoke about him from an attacking point of view, actually provides quite a nice little output there from the Netherlands. And as I mentioned with the defense, they've got quite a nice group, so I think that the Netherlands should do quite well. And then I got Mason Mount here against Croatia. Croatia. So that's probably the thing that you guys see about this draft, and you're probably asking questions is why I don't own any England players besides Mason Mount. And that's just because I would rather go with the options from Portugal against Hungary, and then in game week 2 I simply just switch them out and go for a Harry Kane and then maybe a Foden. I just want to kind of monitor the situation with the England camp. I know that Harry Kane will start, but I think that Croatia could be quite a tough game for England, and that's why I would rather prefer going for a Portuguese option against the Hungary side that I think will be quite a rollover in my opinion. So Mason Mount just kind of comes in as a cheap option that I think should do still well against Croatia, but I just think at that price bracket there's not many options besides Mason Mount that I am currently looking at. Then going on to the rest of the team, I've got Nego. Apologies for mispronouncing that if I am, but just kind of a cheap option from Hungary. But the thing about him is that I don't think he's going to start, but off the bench at 4 million in the midfield, I don't think that that's actually quite unreasonable. So I mean, he's just kind of a cheap budget option that I could look at, but if I do get some money, I probably will upgrade him because I really do want set starters in the starting 11 for their respective countries, and then I can just simply sub them on if they do quite well. And then finally, the two players on the bench. So don't worry, I'm not benching Ronaldo and Diego Jota. I just simply am putting them there because they do play the last fixture of game week 1, but I just think I have to go with Ronaldo and Diego Jota because it is Portugal. They're going to have a good chance for the Euros this season, and I reckon they're going to be quite hungry for goals against Hungary, so excuse the pun there, but I do think Ronaldo and Diego Jota could provide nice captaincy options on that final game day of the game week if maybe my other captaincy options don't return, but I don't think they actually will, and that's just kind of the thing I am considering, is that am I actually going to need a Ronaldo and a Diego Jota by the time that I do get to that last match day? Because I mean, between Immobile, Lukaku, Gini Wijnaldum, those players should probably return for their respective teams, so maybe a Ronaldo captain isn't even on the cards if the other options do return. But this is the fixtures. Now let's get on and look at the actual match days. So as I mentioned in my video yesterday, the ultimate guide, which I did release on the Dayvy FPL channel, you can actually go on your team selection and put it on date mode. And that you can see here, I've got the fixtures upcoming, the respective match days of the respective teams. And this is how you guys should kind of set out your squads, because you can't sub on a player that has already played. So put the players that have the last play date, last on your bench, and then simply just filter in the ones that play earlier on. And then also from a captaincy decisions. So you can currently see that on the 11th of June, I've gone for Immobile there because I think that he plays the first match day, and then I simply will just rotate that captaincy depending on which other options I think have a good chance if Immobile doesn't actually end up returning. So this is currently how I think that you guys should set up your squad. Get a really good balance between the group stages so that you do get a nice captaincy option, you get some nice substitute options if the players that are on your starting lineup end up not returning. So this is my initial draft. As I mentioned, guys, don't roast it too much and don't roast my pronunciation too much, as this is just currently my initial thoughts on it. And then obviously I mentioned my transfer thoughts for the upcoming game weeks of taking out Ronaldo and Diego Jota and bringing in Harry Kane, and then also probably Phil Foden to take advantage of those lovely England fixtures that England do have in the group stages. But this is basically a wrap of the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like it if you did, and subscribe if you're new or have not subscribed yet. And I'm pretty sure most of you guys haven't subscribed to this new channel yet, and hopefully this Euro 2020 fantasy competition is going to be quite a good one for this channel and for our overall team. So I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.